With the people of Florence busy seeking salvation by burning their beautiful things, there was little for artists to do. So once again Michelangelo left that city and this time headed south for Rome, and it was there only 2 years later that he met the man who would make him famous. This was an elderly French cardinal, soon to retire and return to France. He had lived for many years in Rome and had come to love it. He yearned to leave behind some beautiful monument in honor of the time he spent there. Michelangelo came highly recommended, so the cardinal commissioned him to make a marble sculpture of the Virgin Mary holding the dead Christ in her arms. Such a scene is called a pietà, which means pity in Italian. According to the contract he signed, Michelangelo was supposed to finish the sculpture in a year, but it took him 2, and by then the Frenchman had died, never to know what an amazing gift he had given the world. For when Michelangelo had finally chiseled every last fold of the Virgin's robe, rendered the veins and tendons in Jesus' hands so that they looked more real than real, and polished the marble to a high finish, the people of Rome were stupefied. Not since the time of the ancient Greeks had there been a sculptor with such amazing skill, and he was only 25 years old. It was the holy year 1500, the end of the century. Pilgrims from all over Europe flocked to Rome, where they heard about the astonishing new Pietà. Although some people remarked that Mary looked awfully young to be the mother of a grown man, the sculptor won almost unanimous praise, and thus Michelangelo was annoyed when he overheard a man informing the admiring crowd that the Pietà was the work of a certain artist from Milan. The next night Michelangelo returned to the chapel with his tools, and on the band that runs diagonally across the Virgin's chest, in beautiful Roman letters, he carved his name. Michelangelo Buonarroti from Florence made this. That's what he wrote on her. On that strip right there. He signed his work, and from then on I think he was going to do that because he didn't want people to not know. During the years he was in Rome, Michelangelo's friends wrote to him with news from Florence. Things were changing for the better, they told him. Savonarola was gone, having made the fatal mistake of charging the Pope with corruption. The Pope had struck back, accusing him of heresy, for which charge the monk was executed in the public square, on the very spot where he had once held his bonfires of the vanities. So here he is being hung and burned. Awful. The people of Florence, no longer under the dictatorship of the Medici or the madman Savonarola, were free to govern themselves. That was good news for artists. The newly elected government was eager to commission great works of art to glorify the city. One of those projects involved an enormous block of marble affectionately named the Giant, which had been sitting in the workyard of the Cathedral of Florence for over 30 years.